Keyon Smith has 33 acting credits, titles including thus: Hack, we have National Treasure, Annapolis, Invincible, Rocky Balboa, Marley and Me, Sure Looks Good, Creed, Sucker for Love, One Night at Dante's, Underground Kings, Payback, Swing, Heart of the Beast, a ton of great stuff. And I remember the one security guard, he was like, Lavelle, you're good, right? Like they're gonna bring in breathalyzers, you're gonna pass. And I was like, no, I'm not. Not at all.
No, I'm not, sir. So they're like, call your parents to come pick you up. And I was like, I don't have to. And they're like, you do know we can hold you for 24 hours. And I was like, being held for 24 hours is much better than getting beat up by my stepfather. I would like to stay here until the morning. Grab me a pillow, boys.
And then I sit down, and I remember I'm just like sitting there, handcuffed with my head down like this. And like I had like one tear coming out, and I remember the one girl came over and like wiped the tear off my face, and I was like, well, this just got overly dramatic. Like, what are we even doing here? You know? Right? All right, hello and welcome to another amazing episode of the Working Perspectives podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, he's JDub Justin Richardson, and our guest today, returning for the second time in a month and a half, is the one and only Keyon Smith. Last time Keyon was on, we went over his life chronologically, and we only got to the age of 19. We missed a lot of stuff. He has over 33 acting and producer credits on IMDB. He's been in such movies as Invincible, Annapolis, Marley and Me, and National Treasure, and Creed. He's had a ton of roles. And Balboa, Rocky Balboa, yeah. So he's done a ton of stuff, and we're really going to do a deep dive into his acting credits and everything like that, and I'm really looking forward to this. We try a couple new things on the show that we haven't done before. Multimedia
presentation excitement forum.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. Justin, your thoughts?
We got ourselves a good guest, and if we're going to start producing movies here at the Working Perspective podcast, we have ourselves a great actor. Very excited.
Understatement of the year, I would say. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. Really happy that he came back, and like it was a short turnaround. I really like that we were able to finish a lot of his story. And, you know, we rehashed some of the old stuff. We got into some other stories, but we really did a nice, deep dive into his acting. Go ahead.
The life of an extra, like that's, you know, what's that day like? It's exciting.
Dude,
you know, my interest goes right to the what kind of cool food do you get?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
it's cool.
I couldn't agree more. I really liked, like, booking, and then after you're done booking, you go to like what's it like on scene, you know what I mean? Like on set, and like what's a day like there, and the different things you have to do, you know what I mean? Like I agree, I really thought that was cool, you know.
Yeah. And then
like,
you have
really,
the opposite, the day where you spend, you're like, all right, I have to read for this part, and it takes you, you know, 2 hours to get there. You gotta wait in the waiting room for 2 hours. You read for 10 minutes, and then you have to go back home for 2 hours. You're like, okay, that was my whole day, and I'm probably not gonna get it.
Yeah. No, could not. Yeah, no, for sure. And it was honestly like a lot of fun. I really had a great time. All right, so I'm super excited for this. So without any further ado, I'm Matt Lavelle. He's JDub Justin Richardson. Our guest today is the one and only Keyon Smith. This is the Working Perspectives podcast. Enjoy. All right, hello and welcome to another episode of the Working Perspectives podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, he's JDub Justin Richardson, and our guest again today, returning, the reigning, defending, returning champ of the Badlands, the king of the big screen, the made man himself, the one and only Keyon Smith is back in the
Hey,
building.
man, trust me, I did not pay him to do it.
Keyon, thanks for being back, man. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. Appreciate you having me back, Matt. JDub, what's going on, guys?
Hey, doing any better to have to lock me up. JDub, you?
What does that mean? What would happen if you were doing better that you would then do something illegal? What would that illegal thing be that they would then have to lock you up?
What would that be?
I mean, if I was
Start
doing
wilding
so
out?
good, I'd
Public
probably
nudity?
just freaking,
Just rip
whack
all your
up some
clothes off?
good stuff and get the booze and whack it up with some hooch and some booger beers and just have
Nose
some
beers?
fun. Little
Okay.
nose beers.
Rampant public intoxication.
Intoxication.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Strange you don't know how to say that word since you've been charged with public intoxication.
I have not.
You
How many
should have been.
how many of us have underage alcohols? Oh, there's one. You got any, Keyon? No.
You said it
we're
again?
gentlemen.
They don't give
Any-
underages in the Badlands.
Yeah, that's true. I was gonna say any underage alcohol charges.
Oh no, hell no.
Yeah, they don't give a shit
Nah,
about
men
that.
have class.
I wasn't a drinker, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Matt. Matt couldn't handle his liquor before he was 21. He had to grow up. Grow up.
Do you remember, Justin? Do you remember my underage charge?
I
think you were
wasn't there, but I heard and many of a story about how a man had to be taken out on a stretcher. A man who won't be named
man who will not be named.
had to be taken out on a stretcher from the talent show
Yeah,
at
you're
our
right.
beautiful high school. And the man who supplied the alcohol, the man who was his POC partner in crime, PIC partner in crime, was once said co-host Matthew.
That's true.
Took in a young, vulnerable child.
To be
down the
fair,
wrong path.
To be fair, he supplied the booze, and then, but I had no one was home at my house, so he just brought it over, and we just started pounding shots, and I had a couple of
Did he
girls
throw-
come.
Yeah, sorry.
So yeah,
Hey, man,
well,
that's-
okay.
That
So
stuff makes for good stories, man. It makes for good stories, bro.
yeah, all right. If we want to talk about this, yep, I just turned 18 and he was 17 and we were in high school and it was like we were in the last quarter of my senior year, and I was seeing, I had a couple girls that I was hanging with. So I had my
Right.
buddy come over and so there was a talent show at our school that was legit, like a legit show. Like it was a good show.
It
Like
was
there was some
cool. Yeah, it was.
there
good
was
a
some
couple
bad
times.
acts. Like there were some acts that were like crud, but there was some acts like there was this one kid, I think his name was Larry White, that he did. I remember the year before I'd gone to the show high, I'd smoked weed and gone to the show, and I was like, it blew my, he was so good. He did like this Michael Jackson compilation dance and
Yes, that's
brought
exactly. Yeah.
brought the house down, right? And dude, so there's a couple thousand people in this auditorium and losing their mind. This kid stole the show. And there was some
Yeah.
high school punk rock bands that were pretty good and some other things, you know what I mean? There was some decent talent at the talent show.
It was fun.
And then it was cool. So
Cool.
then the following year I wanted to go back, but I didn't smoke anymore. So I was like, all right, well, I gotta go drunk then, So I had my buddy come over. He had a bunch of vodka in Aquafina bottles that he brought over.
That was his move. Vodka in a water bottle.
Yeah.
Always.
Vodka in a water bottle was the move. He brought him over, and we just started hammering shots, and we were hammered. And then I had these girls come pick us up. They took us to the
Vodka.
show. Dude, straight, and it was like Uncle Vladdy's or something. Brutal, dude.
Warm.
Brutal
Hey.
stuff. Yeah. And we were and I had these girls come pick us up, take us to the show. And the one girl she had a Volkswagen Jetta. She took us to the show and we were like annihilated in the back seat. And we're going and they're so nervous, we shouldn't take them. Let's just not take them. And I got in the car, I was like, shut the fuck up, get in the car, we're going.
You guys were clearly hammered.
So annihilated, dude. I remember walking in fuck, I need to tighten up.
This was a bad idea.
dude, I remember I remember walking in, right?
Yeah.
And I walked right in, and there's like a bathroom as soon as you go in. I walked right in, went right to the bathroom, and I was like, bro, I was like, dude, I'm like, this is really hitting me
The
right
moment
now.
starts to sober you up a bit, and you're like, oh shit.
And but like so then like I walked out into the lobby outside the auditorium to see He Who Must Not Be Named was like all over the place. And I went and got him. I was like, bro, we need to tighten up because we need to walk through security to get into the show. I was like, so we
Yeah.
need to tighten
That's
up. Okay.
crazy.
So I was like, bro, just stay right next to me. Right. So, and I was like, look, there's a crowd of people. As soon as they open the doors, we're like, they let people out, and you and me are going to go in, and we're going to stay right next to each other. Right. And bro, we started going, and like right away, the security guard looked at us, and he was like, "Lavelle, get over here!" And I was like, and I tried to keep walking, and he grabbed us, and like he grabbed me, and I was fine, but He Who Must Not Be Named fell over because I wasn't supporting him anymore. So he was like, "You guys come with us." So they took us to the security office, right? And I remember the one security guard, he was like, "Lavelle, you're good, right? Like they're gonna bring in breathalyzers, you're gonna pass." And I was like, "No, I'm not, not at all."
No, I'm not, sir.
Yeah. So
Oh
like they
man.
had us like we had to fill out like these incident reports. So we're sitting at these desks filling out the incident reports, and then all of a sudden I look over, and He Who Must Not Be Named just goes and like passes out, nails his head on like the
Dang.
desk, falls over. They start freaking out. Then they call the ambulance, right? And they
Oh
had to
man.
handcuff me, right? Because I was like, they're like, we have to handcuff you and keep you here. And like, He Must Not Be Named was like passed out on a stretcher and having thrown up on himself. And he threw up on the police officer. And the police officer would later tell me, he's like, "You better believe I'm hitting him with a dry cleaning fee. You better believe I'm adding that to his fines." And I was like, "All right, dude."
Oh
You
man.
know? And like,
That's
dude, so
crazy.
then we're there, and the girls that took us, one of them has actually been a guest on the show. But the girls that took us were they were like big time swimmers, right? Like really like state champion swimmers,
Did they
right?
get in trouble? Yeah.
So the cops are there. They're like, "Matt, you got to," they're like, "tell us who sent you." And the cop was like, "Look, if you tell us who brought you," I was like, "I'm not telling you guys. Just let's go." And the cop's like, "Look,
Yeah, like we
if you tell,
walked.
if, well," I was like, "Yeah," I told him, I was like, "We walked." They're like, "No, you didn't." And I was like, and he's like, who brought you guys here?" And the cop was like, "Look, if there's nothing in their car, there's nothing I can do. They're not going to get like, they're not gonna get in trouble for bringing you guys here drunk. Like, like the police, the police was like, "I
Right.
can't do anything." Right. And I was like, "You can't do anything," because I was like, there wasn't anything in their car. So I was like, "All right." And I was like, "Okay, you know who it is." Like they knew. They're like, "We know these girls brought you here." And I was like, "No, they didn't.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "All right, yeah, they did, whatever." And then they brought the girls in, searched their car, and then there was nothing in the car. Then the girls, they came back to the security office, and they're like upset. And then the one
Hmm.
assistant principal, her name was Dr. Pope, and she was like just the biggest, like she like had it out for me, right? And she had heard the whole interaction I had with the police saying like, like they're not going to be in trouble and everything like that, right? And she was sitting there right for that, right? And as soon as the girls came in, the Dr. Pope lady was like, "You guys are both done. There's no way you're going to swimming states," like all this stuff. And I got up and I was like,
Wow.
"You fucking bitch," right? I was like, "You told me if I told you they wouldn't get in trouble, you fucking liar," right? And I'm like kicking her desk and stuff, and the cops are holding me back. And then I look at the cop, I was like,
Dang.
"You fucking lied to me. You told me that if I told you they wouldn't get in trouble." And he's like, and the cop says, he's like, "I have no power with what goes on at the school." And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And I was like, "You fucking bitch." And then I spit on her.
Oh
Right?
man.
And that was not a good move, because then the cop's like, "Matt," he's like, "I'm gonna
You
get like I
spit
can
on,
make
like
this a
spit
lot
spit
worse."
on her, or like
Oh yeah, I
talk
was like,
aggressively.
I was like, "You fucking bitch," like that, right? Yeah, she wasn't happy about that. So then,
Woo.
she's like, "You need to calm down," and I'm like losing it. And then I sit down, and I remember I'm just like sitting there, handcuffed with my head down like this, and like I had like one tear coming out, and I remember the one girl came over and like wiped the tear off my face, and I was like, well, this just got overly dramatic. Like, what are we even doing here now? Right? And then they took us away,
Played
right?
a tiny
And
violin.
yeah, I was like, all right, now, come on, but I was like, and in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm totally getting laid later. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, she's so into this right now. Because it's like, it's the cool thing in school at the moment. Because it's like the cool thing that's happening when it's really like not good for me, Like it's not a
Yeah.
great thing that happened. And then they
Just a
took
rebel
us to
bad boy showed up hammered at the talent show.
right.
Not a
I'm a
big
rebel
deal.
bad guy. I was wearing,
The cops lied to me.
yeah,
Right.
dude, I could tell you what I was wearing too. I was wearing the John Cardiel 2s skater shoes. They were a pair of like DCs. I never did a skateboard in my life, right? Had the skateboard
You
shoes.
can
And I
tell
was
by the way you
wearing
said that. I never did a skateboard in my life.
yeah. And I was wearing like jeans, and I remember I had this like hoodie I would wear all the time. And I was wearing the hoodie with like a shirt underneath, and I had an Aeropostale hat, right? Like this. And dude, just like the
It's a
worst.
big night on the town. You're in high school.
Big night
That's
on the town.
hilarious.
You go into the show. It's a big night on the town. Going to the show.
All
So,
right.
There you go.
and then
Right.
and
You
then
can't
the
go. You can't
police.
go night on the town without the Aeropostale hat.
No, God no. I wasn't going anywhere without the Aeropostale hat, babe.
Can't go nowhere without
And
that, man.
no, and then and then the cops took me to the station. My dad was out of town, thank God. And then I remember the cop was like, I was like, hey, what should I do when my dad comes back? And he's like, buddy, you're gonna have to take your licks. And I was like, yeah, I fucking am. And I was like, yeah, I fucking did. And he told me, I was like, what do you think? He's like, you're gonna get expelled. And I was like, you really think so? He's like, you spit on the lady.
Yeah,
He's
that's
like, yeah,
crazy.
you're done, bud.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
shit, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But in my defense,
Yeah,
I
man.
was like, dude, I was annihilated.
Were you over
I
18?
was so drunk. Yeah, I just turned 18.
So similar thing. I had
Wow.
gotten not arrested, but taken down to the station after the age of 18 for the first time, and right in my neighborhood. It was literally a block and a half away from my house. And so they're like, call your parents to come pick you up. And I was like, I don't have to. And they're like, you do know we can hold you for 24 hours. And I was like, being held for 24 hours is much better than getting beat up by my stepfather. I would like to stay here until the morning. Grab me a pillow, boys.
Yeah.
They literally, they're like, are you serious? I'm like, I'm dead serious. And they're like, all right.
Oh man.
I
I had a situation where I got arrested, man, and I was over 18. I was able to bail myself out, so
yeah.
get the
You're
hell
like,
out
I'm
of
not
there.
calling
But
them,
I
man.
wasn't. Hell no. But I wasn't drunk or nothing like that, man. So, story real quick. It's this guy that used to steal cars. He used to rob people. He used to go rob people, and then leave the car. So as the young kids hanging around, he used to let us, drive. He's like, yo, there's a car over there if you guys want to drive.
Go mess
I was
around
like,
with it because
hell?
I'm done with it.
I was like, hell yeah. so us being kids, man, like teenagers. So, I think I was the oldest. I was 18, and then going down the line, like 17, 16. So I drove, and then we got this little guy in the crew, my guy, Jay, man. So this dude was like, I want to drive. I'm like, yo, you're like 4'11". You can't
What kind
even
of
see
car?
over the steering wheel, man.
Do you remember what kind of car?
We was driving like the old Chevy Brohams and Caprice Classics, like 88 Classics and stuff like that, man.
Dude, those were boats.
So, we had a screwdriver. That was the key. You got the key? That's how we started it. Vroom. So, and then the neck was all broken up under the steering column. So we'll put the piece back on to cover it up. We'll put the piece back on to cover it up so nobody would know. But so we had this car for a couple of days until my little guy Jay wanted to drive. He's like this low over the steering wheel, man. I'm like, so we in the car, it's three of us. Hop gets behind us while his little ass is driving. I'm like, don't panic, just keep going straight. So he's driving straight. He stopped at the stop sign. He goes through the stop sign. The cop lights come on. He's driving. He put the car in park, and we all jerk forward. We rocking in the car like, oh my God. the doors open, everybody fly in different directions. so yeah, so we scattered, man. They caught me like, man, they caught me like 5 blocks down, 5 blocks over. Like I was
Man,
cutting
they
through
must have
lots,
thought you were the
zigzagging.
ringleader.
Hey man, listen, man, I was on the passenger side because I was trying to keep him calm.
Immediately panic and just throws the car in park. No
Yo,
break.
he just threw the car in park. The whole car jerked. Yeah, the doors open. Everybody jumped out.
And
it was crazy.
it's a 2-door car, but you gotta like push the seat
No,
down to get out the back.
4-door. It's a
Oh,
4-door car.
Yeah,
It's
the
a
old.
What
4-door,
was the
yeah.
car again?
It's like the old Caprice classics, man. Like the Brohams, the Chevy Brohams. It's a 4-door,
dude,
man.
that's hilarious.
Yeah,
That's so
I think it was a 4-door, man. So one
It's
of
like a
my
clown
guys
car.
got caught. One guy got caught immediately.
There's always
Little
that one
dude
guy.
got caught a couple blocks. Little dude got caught a couple blocks over. Man, I felt like I was running for dear life. I started walking, and I saw a cop coming up the block, and then I turned around. I saw a cop coming down the block. I'm like, damn. So I was done, man. So yeah, I was able to bail myself out though. Yeah. So I stayed there for a while. I wasn't driving, so that was when you was able to get away with it. I wasn't the driver. I was like, I don't know who car it is.
Yeah,
Man.
like, I didn't know what was happening. I was scared and I ran.
Exactly.
I got nervous.
I was just a passenger, man. I didn't want to get in trouble, so you know.
That's
But yeah,
great.
that was the fun days, man. That was hilarious. We still tell that story to this day, man. I'm like, all because you want. I still see him. I'm like, all because you wanted to drive. He's like 40 now. He's like 40 now. I'm still yelling at him. Yo, all because you wanted to drive. Yeah, man.
That's great.
Hilarious.
That's funny. So, okay,
Cool.
well, enough about arrest stories. Now that we've all
Yeah.
caught up, we're going to move to one of our favorite segments. We're going to head to JDub's questions. Keyon, I think you know the drill. Justin here is going to ask you some questions, and you can give him some answers. Justin, go ahead. Take it away, babe.
Now down to the brass
Yes, sir.
tacks. Preferred
Let's go.
method for death penalty. You are setting up a prison. We're going to do death penalties there. What style are we doing at your jail?
Is this for other people or for him?
Yeah, this is for other people. Like, what style do you want to have at your
What do you want to dish
jail?
out? What do you think is best for the public, Keyon?
What's best for the public is no death penalty.
Yeah, I'm pro. I think I'm with that.
I'm pro-death. Kill these sons of bitches.
I don't know.
No death penalty.
Let
him rot in there. Let him rot in there. Get his ass
It is
beat,
worse.
You know.
Death is almost forgiveness in some sense. Keyon, so if you were put on death penalty, what would you want? I would go. What's the one where they all line up?
I'm
Firing
thinking
squad.
lethal injection.
I go firing squad.
Dude, I said
I'm thinking
lethal injection too.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Do you know the
I don't
deal
wanna
with
feel,
the
I don't
firing
want to feel
squad?
the shock. I don't want to be foaming at the mouth. I don't want to feel the shock of that. And just lethal
electric
injection,
chairs.
man. I'm going. Yeah.
Do you know the deal with the firing squad?
Right, like 2 people have blanks or something like
Yeah.
that, so nobody
Yeah,
knows who really.
Nobody
shot
knows who
Yeah.
really shot him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a cigarette.
Exactly.
Put a blindfold on.
Nope.
Oh,
no,
I would
thank you.
definitely love a smoke before I go, for sure. I'd be having
That's
a
the
couple
best part of
smokes.
the firing squad is you get a cigarette. I've
You get a
done that
nice
since Looney
smoke.
Tunes.
He said
You
that's
know?
the best part.
God, I
get a
would love a
cigarette?
smoke.
What you get if you don't smoke, man? A steak? Like what the hell? I'm just
Smack
sitting there
on the
eating a steak,
ass.
T-bone steak, and then just take a shot to the head. Wow.
Scroll one up. Let you hit a Dutch.
Yeah.
Kendrick or Drake in this current feud that we have across our great country?
I'm gonna have to go Kendrick, man.
Same. Perfect.
Nice.
Yeah.
Check mark. Have you seen the comparisons between Anthony Edwards, Minnesota Timberwolves shooting guard, and Michael Jordan? Is that not crazy?
Have.
His
That is
turnaround
crazy.
jumper is his like demeanor when he turns around and runs away, and it's crazy.
Well, how often they do this though? They did it with Kobe. They did it with Jordan.
No, I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
he plays it, but he also looks like him, and he doesn't know who his father is.
Wait,
Which
did you
does
just say he
splice-
don't look like? Did you just say he looked like Jordan?
No, he does look like Jordan. He but he doesn't know who his father is. So like the illegitimate, like it could be Jordan story.
Come on, man.
I like it. It's
That's
fun.
Really?
That's hilarious. That's a stretch.
I guess he does kind of look like him.
He does.
No, he
I think
don't.
so.
I
Who do you
mean,
get?
this is also, Justin, I mean, this does sound like you and me are just saying that all black people look the
All
same.
black people look alike. Exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
Also,
real
this
nice.
guy I saw on the bus. No. All right.
Yeah.
One
Yeah, you
time-
kind of look like him. No, I'm kidding.
when
You shave your beard, you kind of look like Jordan yourself.
Yeah. I mean, we did talk about last time how Justin, your dad, and Keon's dad could be the same person. We don't know.
we
That's
don't
true.
know.
We don't
I
know.
don't know who my dad is.
We don't know. We don't know.
It could be
It
Michael
runs in
Jordan.
the family.
We could be
Yeah,
Michael
could be.
Jordan's
Dude,
kids.
both of your dads could be Michael Jordan.
We could
You
be
don't know.
Michael Jordan's
true.
kids. That'd be
Wait,
sick.
his dad was what's his dad's name?
Whose?
Jordan. Jordan know whose dad is.
Oh,
Yeah, he does.
Jeffrey Jordan's.
Jeffrey Jordan, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he passed away. He
Yeah.
was murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah, he passed away. Yeah. Yep.
One time, a human being told me that because bears sleep for 5 months in a row, like they hibernate, that they don't have to sleep, and that is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. And what's the dumbest thing you've ever heard?
What?
Ooh. good
Oh
question.
man, I heard a lot of dumb shit, man. I don't know.
I've heard some dumb, seen some dumb.
And I think the person was
Oh,
trying to say
man.
like nocturnal, but they were like, they don't have to sleep at all because of hibernation. And I was like, what? Because they sleep for
man.
5 months straight. And I was like, first off, they don't sleep for 5 months straight. And second off, yes, they still have to. That'd be crazy. You sleep for 5 months of
Yeah.
the year, and then you're just up for
That's-
6 months,
That's insane.
just running
Yeah,
around doing
that's
crazy
insane.
stuff.
What do you do for that extra month that you didn't count?
Yeah, that's a leap year.
No, okay.
Oh
Give or
man,
take.
crazy.
Give or
I
take.
don't. I can't even think. I don't know, man. One of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Jeez.
Man, Justin, we've heard a lot of dumb stuff on this show. God,
Oh
we've
my
heard
goodness, man.
recently. I mean, we just look at a recent episode. We had the rantings of a madman.
Okay. I don't mean to get
Wild.
political, but one of the craziest things or dumbest things I've ever heard was that African Americans benefited from slavery.
There you go. That's what I was looking for.
Whoa.
That was one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
Who said that?
I know exactly
I
what
don't
you
even.
said. Jesse Lee Peterson. You know what I'm talking about? It's that guy, right?
I think it was.
Who's Jesse Lee Peterson?
He
That was crazy.
yeah, you can just do yourself a favor. Google that and listen to the ramblings of a madman. There's a madman.
That was
Is that
crazy.
Kanye?
That was
Is that who Jesse Lee Peterson? No.
No, it's this guy
No.
who he's very pro 1930 style of life. Let's say.
Oh boy. Sounds
But he's an
fun.
African American gentleman, which makes it even more confusing. And he was born on a plantation, so you would think he would have these opposite opinions, but he does not.
That's weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's get into something.
One of the
fun.
dumbest things. One of the dumbest things I've ever heard. So yeah.
Pretty dumb. Pretty dumb.
Bringing attention to it almost makes us a little dumb.
Mm.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do something fun now. Bo Jackson or Barry Sanders?
Woo!
Woo!
That's a good one. That's a good.
I'm gonna go Barry Sanders because he was a little more shifty. Bo was a power back.
Penny Hardaway or Tracy McGrady?
Tracy McGrady.
Oh, Penny.
Ooh, yeah.
Gotta go
Tracy's lethal.
You know, he was the first one to throw the ball at the backboard in the game.
Yeah. First one to
Who,
score.
Tracy McGrady was?
And caught it himself. Now you see a lot of guys doing that. They'll throw it off the backboard to catch it themselves in the game. He was the first one to do that.
You'll get stuck on the dribble, and then they have nowhere to pass to. You just throw it
There
off
was
the back.
something else too. I think he scored like 13 points in 3 minutes or 3 seconds or something like that, right? Wasn't it?
13 points in 12 seconds?
13
I think
points
it
in
was
13
more
seconds
points
or
in
something like that?
seconds.
Or
I think it was.
it was insane. Yeah. it was
With the
something insane.
Rockets. Yeah. You baseball guy at all?
No.
I'm giving to you anyway. You just pick whatever you like. Bagwell
All
or
right.
Biggio?
Gotta go Bagwell.
Nice. Kurt Schilling or Roger Clemens?
I know
Shill,
these
baby.
guys.
You got to go Shill. He's a Philly.
Yeah, that's true. Got to go Kurt Schilling. That's true.
Back to
In the
basketball.
bloody sock.
Duncan or Dirk?
Ooh, got to go Duncan, Mr. Fundamentals.
I know that is tough
Ooh.
though. They both are kind of
Yes.
fundamentally sound, have both pretty
Yeah.
similar size.
Chuck or
But
Shaq.
Duncan didn't have the three and that single leg fadeaway like Dirk.
That's
But
funny you
Oh.
said that,
Duncan
man.
was
Wait, who
the
do I
master
have?
he was the master of what he do.
I have hold on, one more. Patrick Waugh or Martin Bradé? Martin
They're hockey
One of these
Bradé.
people.
They are hockey goalies.
All right, name them again.
Patrick Waugh or Martin Bradé?
Patrick Waugh played goalie?
Patrick Waugh.
Yo, I don't even know these dudes. Let's go Patrick Waugh.
Oh,
He
no,
played for the
Martin.
Ducks, didn't he?
The only reason I asked that question because I want to say Martin Bradé, and one
You
played for
say
the
it
Avalanche,
phenomenally.
and the other played for the New Jersey Devils.
Mm.
Oh man.
Martin
Oh.
Bradin.
Martin Bradé shuts the door. What did you ask? You asked about Barkley. I have a Barkley question. Moses Malone or Charles Barkley?
Chuck, baby.
Gotta go with
Both-
the Chuckster, man.
I
Gotta
know.
go with the Chuckster.
Both
I
are
met
small
Chuck.
power forwards.
Great tipper.
I gotta go with the
Marias.
Chuckster, man.
In Roxborough.
What about
Kevin, that's where Charles Barkley likes to eat.
Maria's?
Oh, nice.
Maria's in Roxborough, right on Ridge Pike. Kevin Garnett
Nice.
or Anthony Carmelo?
Carmelo Anthony.
What did I say?
Anthony Carmelo.
Dyslexia will get
I'm
you,
dyslexic.
Kevin
baby.
Durant or Anthony Carmelo. I'm sorry, you said Kevin Garnett. You know
Kevin
that's two
Garnett.
different positions, man.
I
That's a
know,
power
but
forward
well,
versus a small
at the
forward.
end of his career, Melo did play power forward, only out of
A
laziness.
little bit. A little bit.
Only because they could get away
I'm
with
go-
it.
I'm gonna go Carmelo Anthony.
Randy Moss or Jerry Rice?
That
I gotta
one's
go Jerry
tough.
Rice.
Jerry Rice.
Gotta go Jerry
is-
Rice.
Moss doesn't have a ring, does he?
He does not. They lost.
Moss
the
never
Super
got a
Bowl
ring.
when they went
Yeah.
perfect.
Yep. Gotta
Dan
go Jerry Rice.
Marino,
'Cause-
Aaron Rodgers.
Ooh. Well, Rogers got a ring.
I mean, you can take it from whatever direction you want. Like if you were starting a franchise, they're both rookies. If you, whatever you want.
Marino loves the nose beers.
Yeah.
Damn.
Marino, big.
Oh, you
look.
never
crazy.
heard that? Oh, dude, Pat McAfee's dad went to
I'ma
high
go
school
Dan
with
Marino.
Marino. He said
Marino was
Marino.
like Vic with the way he could. Sorry, just flick it.
Yeah,
Marino
I'ma go Dan
barely had to
Marino.
quick
cock back.
release,
Yeah,
real quick
Yeah.
release.
but he
Plus
was
he
a
was,
quick.
plus he was a pet detective, so Dan Marino.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he loves Snowflake,
You're a weird guy, Ace. Weird
and he
guy.
loved the
Exactly.
he loved Snowflake the mascot and Snowflake the
Snowflake,
Mm.
the Snowflake, the medicine, yeah.
Yeah.
LaDainian Tomlinson or Adrian Peterson.
Ooh, LT.
AP. Gotta go AP. He's a
Adrian's
machine.
a beast. I know. I couldn't
Did-
think of somebody.
I don't think
less.
neither of them got rings, right?
No,
Nope.
no.
No. If they did, it
this?
was as secondary players.
Who's the next step down from AP?
Next step
DeMarco
down.
Murray?
Everybody.
I know. I was trying to find somebody more equal to LaDainian Tomlinson.
You know who's a good that doesn't get his due and
Thurman
proper?
Thomas?
Curtis Martin was a great running back.
Chris Martin was consistent for a long time.
Curtis
I was gonna
Martin
say-
was
Thurman
phenomenal.
Thomas was a good one too.
Who?
Thurman Thomas.
Oh,
Thurman
Thomas
Thomas.
is a beast. Priest Holmes.
Priest Holmes is
Christian
really
Okoye.
good. Oh,
Christian
Brian
Okoye.
Westbrook.
Oh yeah, we all love
Brian
Brian.
Westbrook.
We love
Who's that?
Brian.
Yeah.
Small school guy, Nova guy.
Yeah.
Played with Joe Keating.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Steve
Yeah.
Cunningham box, but I couldn't think of another boxer that I've seen in person to. pit
Oh,
him
Steve
against.
Cunningham is awesome. He came
I
to
got
a
pictures
couple
with
of
Steve
my
Cunningham.
fights. He was great, dude. Dude, I'll tell you,
Big
Yeah,
guy.
he's good.
he fought. I
Good dude.
remember he fought Tomas Adomek And then like 3 weeks later came to a fight I had in Conshohocken, and he was like, still, dude, that fight he had with Tomas Tomek was a bloodbath.
I think I met him at that fight.
Bloodbath in
Conshohocken.
Conshohocken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a big guy.
Yeah.
Dude, big old strong guy.
Yeah, he's
He
cool.
was beast,
Yeah,
dude.
Steve Cunningham is cool, dude.
Cunningham is awesome. Also, Tyson Fury. Have you ever heard this? He openly says the hardest he's ever been hit. Steve Cunningham.
What about Steve Cunningham? Yeah, he dropped Tyson Fury, didn't he? Yep.
I believe so. He dropped him wobbling, but either one.
Yeah,
Fury stole that
him.
fight. Fury stole that fight.
He
He held him, and he was using forearms.
Yep.
Like hitting him with his forearm?
No, like this. Like he would put him up against the rope and go wham, wham with the forearm in the face.
Well, you can't trust gypsies. Yeah. Everyone knows that.
No, you can't. And it was in Ireland, or England. So, yeah, Cunningham really had an uphill battle, but he fought the hell out of him. Cunningham's such a warrior. Yeah. And his nickname, Steve USS Cunningham. Love it.
USS. Yeah.
The USS Cunningham.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right.
Let's keep it moving.
A little bit of questions about homelessness, but I don't want to get too deep into it. I want to just keep it kind of light and loose. Because I don't have a better term for it. What's your feeling on bringing back the loony bins? There used to be what were they actually called? What's the correct term?
The Nut House up in Tokus.
Yeah, the mental ward, the that facility we used to have as a country. What is a solution for homelessness?
My dad used to go to those places. You want to hear a funny story? Have you ever seen the movie Spartacus? Either of you?
I know the concept, but I haven't seen it.
So it's an older movie. Tony Curtis, Kurt Russell. It's a really good movie. The original. And what it was is it's, he was a Roman slave, and then he was an escaped slave that rallied, and he was a gladiator turned escape, he was a slave turned gladiator, turned escaped gladiator, created an army, fought against the Roman Empire, almost won, then was betrayed. There's a scene at the end of the movie, right, where he's captured with all the other Roman slaves, and the Roman Empire is like, we want Spartacus. And then everybody in the army is like, I'm Spartacus. No, I'm Spartacus. So because they wouldn't give him up. You know what I mean? So it's a whole scene of I'm Spartacus. No, I'm Spartacus. No, I'm Spartacus. Right? And it's a very, very famous scene. So my dad was in the loony bin, right? And when he was there, they would take roll call every day. So he went up to a bunch of the different, I guess, members of the loony bin, right? And he told them all, he's like, look, just remember today, roll call, your name's Andy Lavelle, okay? And the one guy's like, yeah, okay, yeah. And he told a bunch of these guys. So they were going through roll call, and they were like, Joe Ford and Tim Kelly and all this stuff. And then they get to Andy Lavelle, and my dad doesn't say anything. And one of the loonies stands up, he says, I'm Andy Lavelle. And the other one says, no, I'm Andy Lavelle. Says, no, I'm Andy Lavelle. And the whole loony, he's like, he was dying. He thought it was the funniest thing. So there you go.
Man, that's hilarious.
Funny story. Yep.
Crazy. Crazy. So, that's funny.
Either way.
That reminds me of the movie Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence.
Great movie.
I'm the pappy. I'm that baby daddy boss.
Yeah, they all step forward.
Yeah, they all step forward. I'm that baby's daddy boss. Everybody can tell that baby's mine. But in regards to a solution, man, we have to stop spending so much tax dollars on wars and sending money overseas and to foreign countries. You can actually stop homelessness for less money than you spend overseas.
But you want to spend tax dollars to keep lifers in prison?
No.
What? I mean, we didn't want to do death penalty.
You said to keep lifers in prison. If they are harm to the public, then yeah.
I'm just saying, save a lot of money.
Open up some rules on the
death penalty.
Honestly, if we're really going to get into
it, I see your point.
I'm for an actual prison system that rehabilitates. So there is no
True.
if you're
I would
going
agree
to be
with that.
in,
True.
if there is for some particular reason, like, and again, like whatever, I don't know, why can't I think of the right term for it? It's not the psych ward, whatever you want to call it. Like, there's two places. Like, if you're on this, if you're, you know,
the cuckoo's nest.
Yeah, if you're on death row, you can either be rehabilitated or you, and if so, we will push and strive for that. And if you can't, then you'll end up in the psych ward. Like, it's not like,
and the same for homelessness. If you have those facilities where they can go, they should be there to help facilitate rehabilitation.
We used to have it. We don't anymore, but it also wasn't the best back then. I know there's tons of horror stories of what used to go down in some of our publicly funded mental facilities, but the concept of it, I think, is one of the only and few solutions to homelessness.
In theory, if it's done like to help others, yeah, it's a great thought in theory. But we're going down a deep rabbit hole here, so let's keep it moving. Justin, do you have any more questions for Keyon?
Keyon, do you have any questions for me?
You can say no, so we can fucking be done with this segment.
My real father's name is Cornelius.
Shut the fuck up. Was it really?
Yeah, I never met him, but apparently his name's, he went by Neil, which is how I was told.
Corn dog?
Okay.
But then, like, I had my buddy run a like search and scan of like people, like through, he works for like a credit card company. I was like, track this guy down. Yeah. He's like, his real name's Cornelius. I was like, what? That's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool. But no, man, I really didn't have any questions this season.
What's your dad's name?
I have no clue, bro. Oh, you know what? Wait a minute.
It was actually Cornelius.
It was Neil. No, I'm just kidding. No.
I was like, get the fuck out of here.
It was actually corny.
No, my aunt that raised me told me that she thinks it was a guy named Robert that my mother used to date. She said, you know, I look like the guy, you know, kind of got the same build and things like that. So
yeah, it's
old Bobby.
Bobby the Boinker.
Yeah, it's not as exciting as Cornelius.
Not as exciting as corn.
Can't even spell Cornelius.
Who can?
Hey, man.
I mean, shout out to him though.
Any famous Corneliuses or any famous Neil Diamond? Okay, there you go. You got Neil Diamond.
Oh,
I think it's more famous Bobbies than it is Neil's.
I mean,
more famous Bobbies than Neil's.
For sure.
In the 1300s, there was a ton of famous Corneliuses.
Cornelius was all over the 1300s. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yep. So let's keep it moving. So, last time Keyon was on, which was, I think it was March 26th it aired, but episodes available now on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Work Perspectives Podcast. Last time Keyon was on, we had a great show. We went over a lot of his work history. We ended about his work history, his life history, growing up in the Badlands. Really great episode. Highly suggest you check it out if you haven't already. But what I do want to talk about is Keyon now. So where we left off with Keyon, you know, he was coming of age, but we were about to get into his acting. So to date, listen to this, folks, right? Listen to this. Your boy Keyon Smith here has an IMDB page and has 33 acting credits on that page. Titles including thus: we have Hack, we have National Treasure, the movie, we have Annapolis, the movie, Invincible, the movie, Rocky Balboa, the movie, Marley and Me, the movie, Sure Looks Good, the movie, Creed, the movie, Sucker for Love, One Night at Dante's, Underground Kings, Payback, Swing, Heart of the Beast, a ton of great stuff. So I want to start off with Keyon, acting, right? So as we talked about before on your episode, that's available now on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Work Perspectives Podcast. But in that episode, you talk about, dude, humble beginnings, right? You were, you know, you were living in an abandoned house for years. Then you moved from abandoned house to a couple row homes in the Badlands in Philadelphia, right? Like, you're doing pharmaceuticals to get by, street pharmaceuticals. You've been shot. You've been robbed at gunpoint several times. You know, you've been busted for stealing cars. You had your car stolen. Like, ton of stuff happened to you, right? And
Yeah.
So, for you to transition and was able to find a foothold in acting is incredible. So why acting?
Growing up, man, I was always involved with, plays and theater and things like that in school, like the drum team and things like that. So I was real good with reciting stuff, man. And I used to always crack jokes, like in middle school. I always recited movies that we watched. My friends would be cracking up. They was like, "Do the thing, do the thing." So
That's the best.
so yeah, man. So I always said, I wanted to entertain. Growing up, I said comedy, like I wanted to be a comedian. I watched guys like Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, Chris Rock, things like that. So I said, yeah, I think I'm gonna do stand up. So, but as I got older, I transitioned to acting, and I went to the historic Freedom Theater in Philadelphia, and that's where I started taking acting classes. After the acting classes,
Where's
I
that?
had to kind of that's it's in Philadelphia on Broad Street, near the historical Blue Horizon. If you guys know about the Blue Horizon, where the fights used to take place, boxing matches.
Okay. So you're taking some acting lessons and stuff. Then
Yep.
what was the transition then to getting, like, how did you get into like getting roles in movies? Like, what was that process?
hmm So I ended up talking to people in class, and it's all networking with acting. So,
Mm-hmm.
and they let me know how to find jobs and things like that. So you got to pay your dues. So of course you got to get your feet wet. You got to get the jitters out in front of the camera. So I started doing student films. So I was doing films with Temple University, Drexel, and UPenn and things like that. So I did a couple student films, and one student film I did was called Talon, Talon, and that ended up being nominated for one of the best undergraduate films. So
No
that was pretty
kidding.
cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was pretty cool. And from there, I just continued to network and find jobs. I started going online to different casting agencies, and they would say, "Hey, they're looking for extras." So I'll jump in and try to do extra work. But I was more so trying to get lines. That's what every actor want to do, is to get lines. You don't just want to be
Yeah.
walking by the screen, you know.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
why I've done tons of independent films and things
Yeah.
like that. So I always wanted to get some lines in there. You get the under five liners, or the supporting roles and lead roles. But
Yeah.
it was a journey getting to where I got to. So, and of course you get the headshots and you get the agent. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I remember we had Murph Meyer on here, and when Murph was on here, he had talked about, like, he had lived in, and I saw this was a massive accomplishment, and it is. When Murph was on here, he had talked about how he lived in New York for over 10 years in New York City, right? For over 10 years, and he was able to support himself by acting only. And the way he would do it is that he would do, like, he was in video games, and he would do a lot of voice
yep,
work, and then he was like,
voiceovers, yep,
he's saying what you're saying. He's like under fives is what they called him, right? When you
under
get
five,
like
yep,
under five lines or something in a movie or a show. So he did a ton
yep,
of like Comedy Central stuff, and he was a
yep,
big part of the Upright Citizens Brigade and all those things, which helped him out. But
hmm
being able to do that stuff, it takes so much, and it's really like, he talks
yeah,
about how, like, one, you have to have a good agent, but you have to be willing to work and hustle. And it's like, dude,
yes,
rejection is a big
Yeah.
part of it. And
Putting
he's like, that
yourself
is one
out
of the,
over and
yeah,
over.
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
He said one of the
You get the door
toughest
closed,
things.
yeah, yeah. You get the door closed on you a million times, man, before you get
Yeah.
one yes. And
It's
like
gotta
you
be
said,
rough.
it's a grind. It's definitely a grind, because I was working here, I was working in PA, of course, and I would get calls from my agent. She's like, "Hey, there's an audition in New York." Going to New York is an entire day. Your day is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So, and that's just an audition, bro. So you go
yeah,
and you're sitting and you're waiting, and you're doing more sitting and waiting. Your audition is 10 minutes. You're out the door. You got to turn back around and go. You've been sitting for 4 hours. Turn
And
back around and go
yeah.
home, and you get back home about 8, 9 o'clock at night, and that's it. Your
for
whole day is
one
gone. So
audition.
you miss look, and you missed work, because you had to miss work to go to an audition
Yeah,
It's
and
yeah,
spend money to
insane.
get there. and then come back home and just sit.
And you got to have a good attitude the whole time you're there, sitting, waiting.
Yep.
That's so tough.
So it's definitely a grind. I mean, I know you do. I had a commercial. You know, you do like little commercials and stuff in between. You know how Montel, Montel Williams do those Money Mutual commercials and things like that.
Yeah.
I've done one of those too, but it wasn't for residual income where every time they played it, I got paid. It was like a cash buyout. So I was like, okay, cool. Give me the check. I'll take it.
That's part of paying your dues, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a grind, man. You got to pay your dues.
Yeah, but that's all part of it.
A lot of free work. Because sometimes that free work turns into money. You know, the work you do for free, it turns into networking. You meet this girl, you meet that guy, and things like that. And it turns into networking, and, you know, you get bigger things from that. So
honestly, that's something that we're actually going to try on this show. There's a technique that they do called, like, you do like a free advertisement for somebody, and if they like it and they see work, like they see it's productive, then they'll pick you up. So Justin and I are actually meeting soon to do a writers meeting, or creative meeting, I should say, to go over what we're going to do for our free advertisement. Yep. But, you know, like that's something, but like,
you can also advertise Made.
Sure will.
Hey, dude, I'd be happy to do it. Yeah.
You've had books and stuff. There's no reason not to just make ads so they're an example.
Yeah. Dude, and if it gives them a bump, you know what I mean? Like, hello. So, but
$DE. No, sorry.
Yeah. So, but either way, so no, that's incredible. So can we talk about, so you were an extra on the movie National Treasure, right? So and you're on, you're an extra on Annapolis and Invincible and Rocky Balboa and like all these things. So can you give us an idea of like, what is the process of being an extra? Like, one, how did you get in as an extra? And then two, what is the day like when you do the extra work?
So, I had an agent, and I would get.
You still have an agent?
From her, or actually, no, I don't have an agent now. I've been in the game so long. People just call me or shoot me an email. Nice. I just get phone calls. But so I would get a phone call from like casting companies, because I was on. You can get on file with the casting companies too, and whenever they need extras, they'll give you a call. So Heary Casting and Mike Lemon's Casting, they were the two biggest in the city. Still are. Now it's Heary Lofton. I think Jason Lofton and Heary, or something like that, casting agency in Philly. Yeah. And they would give me a call like, hey, we're shooting a film. I don't know if you heard, blah, blah, blah. Are you available for this day and this day and this day? They'll give you 1 day, or they give you 3 days, or give you a whole damn week. But so they'll let you know. They'll call you. I'll say, yeah, sure, I'm available. And you get down there. Sometimes they'll tell you what to wear, what not to wear. They'll tell you, give you the details, like, hey, you're going to be in this scene where.
Like a era.
Yeah,
they'll
let you know what era.
1980s or 90s.
They'll let you know. Yeah, exactly. They'll tell you what to wear, what not to wear, what to stay away from. Don't wear any white or red. They'll say no logos and things like that. And when you get down there, you fill out.
Why no white or red?
Voucher. That's just an example, because sometimes they'll say don't wear this type of color, don't wear this color, don't wear that color.
Okay. It can just be whatever. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it can be whatever.
I didn't like. I thought like white or red like affected the camera, but it doesn't matter. It's just you're making an example. Okay, I get it. Yep.
Yeah, just an example. They'll tell you. Sometimes they'll give you more details than you need. But so you'll get down there, fill out a waiver with your information, name, social security number, all that good stuff. You're sitting in what they call in the area where background is, and they'll let you know when you are up, and you do your thing. They got craft services. They'll let you know when you can eat. Of course, we eat after the principal actors.
Of course.
We eat last.
Yeah.
So
right.
But yeah, they let you know how long you're going to be there. Sometimes you're there 4 hours. Sometimes you're there 8 hours. Sometimes you're there 12 hours. But
do you know how long you're going to be there? Like, do they give you that heads up, or they're like, go take a seat and we'll get to you when we get to you?
Yeah, sometimes.
Where do you like wait? Is there like a room? Like, where do you even wait?
So it depends on where we're filming it. So if we're filming in outside, then they have a whole tent outside where extras can wait, or sometimes it's in a building close by that they're using. And
Okay.
it's all blocked off, and it's labeled like things like that. Yeah, you guys over here, they got people, they got assistants on staff, and they got walking around walkie-talkies. This way, guys. This way, guys. Telling you where to go.
When you were in Rocky Balboa, you were in like the boxing spectator, so like you were in a crowd scene.
Yeah.
Was that
Yeah.
at the Wachovia Center, or where was that shot at?
I think that was shot at the Blue Horizon.
Oh, is that the Horizon?
That was the Blue Horizon.
Well, no, I
Broad
know.
Street.
Well, I know that that was Creed. It was at the Horizon. I guess maybe in Rocky Balboa they did too. So nice. Okay.
Rocky Balboa as well. Yeah.
How good
Nice.
is the how good is that craft service table? I hear this term, but it's so vague. Like, does it change day by day? Is there
So
do they switch it out for like the principal actors and then the extras?
That's the other thing. People
Exactly.
say craft
Exactly.
services. Yeah, and I'm like, what does that mean?
So
Does that mean
we
peanut butter
can
jelly
be getting
sandwiches?
we can be getting sandwiches, with your water, soda, chips and things like that, while they're eating like steak and spaghetti
lobster
and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, whatever they want, because those are the principal actors, the leads, like Nicolas Cage and the people he's running around with.
Is it
and
by request,
so,
or is it just like on a table, like buffet style?
It's with the lead actors, it can be by request if they have a rider, so they can actually say what they eat and what they don't eat. So they can have a rider, they can eat in a trailer, they can come out, join the club, join the rest of the people, and things like that. So they're the big dogs, man. They can do what they want.
Dang, I mean, good for them.
Were the sandwiches good?
Well, wait.
It's good food.
If you went to like eat with the principal actors, would they like fire you and be like, dude, get out of here, don't come near them?
You don't even know when they're eating.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say they probably just do. They get all their stuff
just
delivered.
Keep you guys
to their
separated.
Yeah, separated.
Dude, because if it's Stallone, like you can't have Stallone on a set with extras. Like he'd be mobbed. It's Stallone.
20 minutes to eat.
No. So I saw Stallone in some of the films, right? So let's see. So we're talking about let's say
Rocky Balboa, Creed.
So I saw Stallone in Creed. I didn't see Rocky. I didn't see him in Rocky Balboa. I saw Stallone. We like within like walking distance. He's a couple feet away.
Yeah.
So I saw Stallone. He was cool. I also saw Michael B. Jordan. Like we were like in a whole like little group just talking. Like he was chilling. So you can't really get out of hand because then they'll kick you off set. So and then sometimes your phones are bagged in lockers and things like that, so you can't be sitting there taking pictures of them and all that.
Yeah.
So because they don't want to give
that
up the
makes
scene.
sense.
You can leak the scene.
Especially too. If you're an extra, especially if it's like a big box office hit, you know how people are online. Like if they saw like one pic, like say if it was a Marvel movie and you did like a whatever from a thing, they dissected a million ways.
You can see the background, right? You can see the background right here. You can see that he's wearing. They do the whole breakdown, man.
You can see that's Ivan Drago's grandson.
Exactly.
Nice.
So,
okay.
So I saw Stallone, Michael B. Jordan.
So that's extra work,
right?
Wilson,
Owen Wilson and Marley and Me.
Oh, nice. That's great. Wow. So
I was
let's
playing
keep
football
moving
with Mark Wahlberg. Playing football with Mark
on
Wahlberg.
Invincible?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was just playing catch with him on the football field, just throwing the ball back and forth. Yeah, that was cool.
Oh. What about James Franco in Annapolis? That was young Franco.
And Tyrese. I think Tyrese was in that too.
Tyrese was in that. Yeah.
Yep, James Franco in Annapolis. So I didn't see either of those guys. I was one of the shipyard workers, so no, I didn't see either one of those guys on that set.
What's the best food that you had? Do you was there food that stood out at any movie? Like you're like, oh man, this is great. I would have to say Cold Case. Yeah,
Cold
they had a
Case.
consistent.
The TV show, Cold Case.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep, with David.
You
with
were a
David Morse
juror
Morse
on
and
that one,
Andre
right?
Brower.
Dude,
I was a
R.I.P.
taxi cab driver. I was a juror. Yeah,
R.I.P. Andre
because
Brower. Talk about a
it was about a
phenomenal
guy.
actor.
It was about a guy driving the cab who was an ex-cop, and he would drive around still helping people. Like he was just
Trying to figure out cases cops weren't working anymore.
Yeah. Yep. Just helping people out.
What was the good item? What did they have?
Oh man, they had like pasta, man. Like I'm a big Italian pasta guy, so they had like spaghetti, rigatoni, just stuffed shells, and stuff
Oh,
like that, man. I was like,
love it.
nice with the garlic bread on the side, man. I was like,
Yeah.
not the
So
little cold cut sandwiches. So
so
they had
then
hot
okay.
food, man, on the sternos.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, let me lift this up. What's this?
So
Let's
let's
go.
keep it moving then. All right. So you went from, so that's like early in your career. We're talking like, 2004 to 2007. You're doing more like, kind of, more extra work and stuff like that, but you're still getting involved, getting
Yeah,
your name out there. Then I see in 2009, you did Brighton Park, right? And you played Detective Peter
yeah,
Newman. And that seems like that was like kind of one of your first like bigger roles. So
yeah.
what was the deal with that? Do you remember how did that come about? What's going on there?
So as you just mentioned, I was still making the name. I was still working. Early in my career, I was working a lot. I was doing like 3, 4, 5 films a year.
Mm.
And later in my career, I started to taper off because I was doing more behind the scenes type stuff. But Brighton Park came across my lap. I auditioned for it. I don't even know. You know what? No, I didn't even have to audition for it. He saw some
Oh,
of my work.
really? They had picked you
Yes.
out.
Yeah, his name was Stan Jacobs. So SDJ Productions. So yeah, he's a writer and director. He's pretty decent and a producer. And I don't know what he saw. I think it might have been word of mouth. A lot of that goes on in the industry as well. Like, hey, I know
Yeah.
this guy. He's pretty decent.
I got a
He's
guy, he'd be
talented and things like
perfect
that.
for this, and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Brighton
Nice.
Park was a pretty decent movie.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of kids that went that frequent this park, and it was like 8 kids, and they were ending up dead like one by one, and we had to find out like what the hell was going on. So it was pretty decent, and I suspected it was my partner because she kept being the first one on the scene, and I was talking to the lead detective, but I was like, he was talking to me. He was like, you notice anything strange about Tim's lately? I'm like, nah. He was like, she's the first one on the scene every time this happens. I was like, no, you're not thinking that. He's like, I don't know. So it was pretty decent. It was cool. It was a cool film,
Dude,
man.
that is
It was
cool,
an
man.
independent film. It was pretty cool. I think I got
Nice,
a clip of
dude.
that too somewhere.
In firefighters, apparently it's like a thing.
What?
Like firefighters who start fires so that fires can be fought.
Oh, yeah,
really?
the hero complex. They have a hero complex.
Yeah, like
That's what
and
that
then
is.
they're first on scene is like how a lot of guys end up getting caught. That's
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
That's
called the
a cool
hero
concept.
complex, where
But
they
it's the same
start
thing.
the fire and they're the first one on the scene so they can stop it and be called the hero. Like, I was here, I made it, and I put it out. I saved them. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's keep it moving then. So, okay. So that's great though, that you're like, now you're starting to see like, so, like a couple, like it's like you're getting more, like it's kind of like, hey, you're getting a little more here and like, you're getting some,
Yeah.
it's like you're just expanding your horizons and your growth. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, it's really good to see. So you do Brighton Park, right? And then you have another role as like a robber and like a CSI agent and like Ranger McPhee and Deadly Consequences. But I want to talk about finders keepers. So when dude, honestly, this show looked, when I was researching it, one got a decent rating on IMDb, a 6.6, a decent rating for a TV show, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
idea is a dude in Section 8 housing, right,
Mm-hmm.
finds
Yeah.
$100,000 in the back of his truck, doesn't know where it came from, right? Like,
Yeah,
dude, when you got the
yeah.
call to play Jamil Watson in Finders Keepers, right? Like, you like, but it's just like it's the progression, right? Like roles, you're getting more lines, and then now you're
Yeah,
getting like a co-lead in a
yeah,
series, a TV series.
yeah,
Like, you must have been through the roof when you got this,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, that series is pretty awesome, man. I got the call on that. I couldn't wait to work with Sonny. That was my co-partner in that one, my co-lead.
Yeah.
I got that call from Sonny, and he was like, "Hey, Keyon, I got this. I want you to do it. Me and you." He told me the story. I was like, "Hey, man, I'm on it." Like you said, after reading
Yeah.
that, you're like, "Yeah, yo, that's
Yeah.
going to be." And it's a comedy, so it's hilarious. So finding
Yeah.
that 100,000 in the trunk, like the suitcases were switched. He's like, I opened my trunk and to pick him up one day, and he's in the trunk. He's like, "Yo, what you going downtown or something? You got a court date?" I was like, "Why do you say that?" He's like, "You got your briefcase back here." I don't got no damn briefcase. So I go back there. I was like, "That's not mine. You did Did you put that in there?" He's like, "No." I was like, "Open it." He's like, "It's in your car. You open it." So so it's pretty cool, man. So we open it up, and yeah, it's 100,000 in the suitcase, man. I was like,
Dude.
"Oh shit." So it ended up being mob money. The mob is after us. My son needs surgery. Like it was crazy, man.
Mhm.
It was yeah. We just running around the city trying to hide, and yeah, man. It's a pretty cool joint.
Dude, that's great. I mean, like, you ended up getting 5 episodes out of it. It ran for a couple years. It had 2 seasons,
Yeah,
like, or like 1.5 seasons, but still, like, dude, you got one, you really got to get some camera time, right? Which is
yeah,
valuable, but like, did
yeah.
you see a lot of growth, even though, like, this isn't a huge, it's not like you're on Game of Thrones,
Right,
but it's like you're still,
right.
this is a big step in the right direction. Even in this, did you see a lot of growth?
Absolutely. And my son played my real life son played my son in that
Oh, the
series
show. That's
in the
awesome.
Great.
show. Yeah.
That's great. That's
Um,
dream come true.
but yeah, it was definitely a lot of growth in that one, man, because I was able to see I was on set with a lot of talented people, I'll say,
Hmm.
from different walks of life. So
Hmm.
I got to see a bigger production, of course, the inner
Yeah.
workings of it all instead of just
Yeah.
being, an extra just walking around and shit. So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool, man. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And from there things just got better and better. So that's the good part about it. You constantly see that growth over time and over the years. So yeah, it just got better from there.
Yeah. So then, okay, I want to keep it moving, right? So then from there, you did, that was a really big step, but then you got to be in the movie Color, right?
Oh man.
You played Clint Westwood, the Birdman, right? Like,
To
dude,
fly in any weather.
yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, this was a really big step and a really big
The
story,
Birdman.
you know?
Yeah.
So, but this was like, honestly, just the idea behind this is phenomenal, right? Where it's
So,
like it's a group of 12 iconic figures, and they do like it's like an Alice in Wonderland kind of like group travel together, like their
Hmm.
shared emotional roller coaster, like really, really, really kind of
Yeah.
great idea. So, how did you like filming this? You know what I mean? Like, it
That was
really
awesome.
is
That was
just
awesome,
yeah,
man. That was one of the
yeah.
most artistic films I've ever done, man.
Dude, I just
That dude,
just think like sorry to interrupt, but like Justin, think about this as like characters. They took Jake LaMotta, Clint Westwood, John Rumbo, Jackson Pollock,
no,
Dorothy from The
2,
Wizard of Oz, the
3.
Shaolin Monk, a replica, a leprechaun, Harry Houdini, Dick Tracy, Shakespeare.
So,
You know what I mean? Like all of these different characters into one
yeah,
movie. You know what I
yeah,
mean? To be and like to form it into this honestly really creative, really a lot of
yeah,
fun. So being that this is like that's more of a creative piece,
yeah,
right? Like, did you really get to see an expansion, and what was it like being on, I guess this is type of an indie, right? So first off,
yeah.
so how did you like working in more of a creative piece?
That was an awesome experience, man. James Brady was a genius with that one.
Yeah.
I still remember his name. Like that was old. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But He hit me
11
up for
years
that
ago.
role. He hit me up for that role, man, and I was so nervous because that character, Clint Westwood slash Birdman, I actually had a live bird, like freaking rooster or turkey on my arm, yeah, in that movie. So that dude was really, he was really, his character was opulent, so he was rich,
Yeah.
and he spoke like it. I really had to transform. I had no beard. I had like a light mustache. I wore glasses. I got to send you a picture of it. It's on my IG page too. But when you see it, I really had to transform. I wore a pocket watch with the chain. And I had like a 3-piece suit on. Like it was with a bowler hat. Like it was pretty cool.
So you
and
really got to explore.
I really got to explore in this one. And the dialogue was crazy. It made this role challenged me because the dialogue was so crazy. Like he was speaking a bunch of gibberish, and I was able to knock it out in one take. So it was crazy, man. I studied for that. I studied that role so much, man. It was insane.
When you get a role like that, is it something like you're just balls to the wall, like 1,000% focus, right? Like you're like,
Yeah,
you
I
really
didn't
want
want
to
to
like
screw it up.
capture it,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's
that was
awesome,
cool,
man.
man.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was a good film.
So I want to keep it moving. This is what I want to do next, right? So for all of those listening, this is also available on our YouTube channel. So what I'm going to do is we're going to see a clip from one of Keyon's movies. We're going to watch the clip. It's only a minute long. And then we're going to talk to Keyon about the role, the movie, and everything that goes along with that clip. Okay, so right now we're going to move to a movie. This is a clip from the movie called Compromised with Keyon Smith. Enjoy.
We're out of here. Around. It's not how we do things, Aaron. You don't involve family. We don't involve family? You killed my father. Is that not family? Whatever it is, I'll get it. Just let my girls go. Everything I want is your life. We'll take it. Just bring Karen and Crystal back. And I'll put your gun in my mouth my damn self. See that? I told you you would, babe.
Kind of like wife.
You motherfucker.
More like wife fucking. She had a good shot.
That's what this is about. Raping women, kidnapping kids. By any means, right? Whatever it takes. I told you you would pay. Well, let's check that.
All right, so that was Keyon Smith in Compromise. I'll tell you a couple takeaways for me, right? And for all of those listening, you can watch that on our YouTube channel. We'll have the video out. For me, right, I would just like to say the class of your acting in that scene in comparison to the other actors, and I'm not trying to disparage everyone, but there was a different like there's levels, right? They were so stiff on camera, they weren't moving, right? Like you were moving, you were all over the place, you're involved in the scene, your facial features, your show, like everything was going. Really a big difference in the acting, and I thought you nailed it.
I appreciate that, man. But my comrades, there's some talented folks, man. The guy that I was talking to, Nakia Dillard. We have Jacinth and Mia Mendez. She actually used to be a radio host on Power 99.
I love how she called the ladies hoo-ha a shot. Love it.
Yep. Yeah, so that was and my guy Kirk Ponton. So yeah, there was some talented people in that film, man. That was
I'm not trying to disparage anyone. I just really felt like you nailed that scene.
You shine in your performance.
Yeah, shined. Really shined. And honestly, it was really like it
by any means.
Yeah, by any means. You like you really did. I thought that you brought that scene together and you kind of sold the scene. Very good. So
that was a pretty decent film.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts like filming that, getting to that character? What was your preparation like?
Oh man. So he was more the character Aaron, he was more of a cerebral type of boss. So he wasn't the loud and rowdy guy that just go and blow your head off. So so for the film in the script, when I read it, I didn't feel that from him. So I didn't study any of those rowdy guys. So who I looked at and studied for this film was Denzel in American Gangster, how he was calm, mellow, but still would blow your head off in broad daylight and, you know, take his $100 out your pocket and give you the rest. So so that's really who I studied in that one, man. You know,
you could tell it was kind of like a boiling tea kettle kind of thing, where it's like he's holding it together, but the slightest thing could set him off. I could, very much so.
Yeah. And in that scene, that's the boiling point. I already kidnapped his kids and his wife and all kinds of stuff. So that was the boiling point in that scene right there. So that was pretty cool.
Nice.
He was coming back. He came to my clubhouse to meet me in my bar. So it was pretty cool.
Very cool. So awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for reliving that. Justin, anything else to add?
No, I think it's cool. I mean, especially like seeing like the set and stuff. Like it's a good, like all that's got to be exciting. Like the filming scenes and locations and stuff. Especially where was that actually filmed?
That was filmed in Philadelphia, and with filming, you have to know some people that know some people that know some people.
Sometimes it's just a building that somebody will let you borrow for 30 minutes.
Exactly. Yep. A doctor's office. You need a hospital bed. Like all kinds of stuff. A prison cell. I mean, if you know people, trust me, in this game, it
makes a huge difference between you having to set up the room, build the drywall, set up the bed versus like, hey, can I shoot in here for? Because also sometimes the scene's only 5 minutes, but I need a whole doctor's office. Yeah. Yep.
And like you said, if let's say you only need 10 minutes. Well, it may look like 10 minutes to you guys when you're watching it, but it takes us an hour to shoot it. You know what I mean? Because you got to edit it down. Because you got to get the different angles. Yeah. Yep. So let's say you want that hospital, right, for just an hour. Now, you want to get in there prior to the hospital even opening, or not a hospital, that's a bad, because they open 24/7, but
like
let's say a store, a convenience store. Let's say a convenience store or something like that.
Yeah.
You want to get in there before they open. So it's like, all right, I usually open at 8. Let me get in there at 6:30. All right, cool. Turn the lights on.
Clerk, set up customers. Yeah. And that's the other thing too, you think about where like, all right, so that convenience store scene is in the beginning. It's also just one quick scene in the middle. And at the very end of the movie, they have a conversation. So it's like, all right, today we're doing 3 scenes from the movie, but we're going to film them all today, right now.
Yeah, we're going to film them all today. Yep. So you can film the exterior. If you're filming exterior scenes, then you can film the interior all in the same day. Yep.
Yeah, very cool. And
you got to be careful with continuity, because if you're filming the exterior and it's daylight, and then you're filming the interior in the sunset, and you're looking through the window and it's dark out, continuity, you can see that.
It's funny. So you know the movie Clerks, Kevin Smith movie Clerks. So you know how in the beginning, right, he can't open the shutter for to get into the store. The reason he did that is because they shot it at night. The indoor scenes they shot at night, and he wasn't he couldn't open the thing. You know what I mean? So he had to keep the thing. So it's like why it's dark in there is because he had. You know what I mean? Just like you're saying, continuity. Really cool though. Okay, so thank you for that, Keyon. I want to check out another one of your pieces. So this is from the movie Heart of the Beast with Keyon Smith. Enjoy.
So the guest count is 150. The client is with the CEO and needs serve out in under 10 minutes.
Solid.
All right. What's wrong with you?
Nothing.
Well, we do have a wedding in town tomorrow night, and we do need a manager.
Me?
If you're ready.
Of course.
Great. Prove me right, and we'll keep you first in line.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Now, the wedding is nearby, relatively small. At the bride's home, Bailey Mills and her fiance Ulysses.
Bailey Mills?
Look, Liv, it's yours. If not, then we move on to someone else.
I'll take it.
All right.
Thank you very much,
Great.
sir.
Listen, don't let them get to you. You're stronger than you give yourself credit for. All right.
All right. That was Keyon Smith in Heart of the Beast. Honestly, another great role. So the way they shot that, would they do like, obviously they're not turning the camera back and forth. So they do
Right.
do they do like all of your lines at once and then do all of her lines at once? Because some of them are shot over her shoulder. So she has to be in the shot when you're doing your lines, right? So like
Yep.
one of the things, so Michael Jai White, you guys know him, Michael Jai White.
Yep.
He's like, he's a pretty, if you saw him,
Stunt
Justin,
guy, action guy. Yep.
yeah. So he was in Dark Knight with Heath Ledger and Christian Bale, Dark Knight, Batman, obviously one of the biggest movies of all time. So he was in that movie. So one of the things that people talk about, I guess, and I'm not sure what it's called. You probably know the term, Keon, when they're doing just your scene, right? Like frontals or something like that.
Yep.
But
POV.
POV, so they're doing like your your
Okay.
POV scene. It's just you, right? But say if you have dialogue with someone off camera, so sometimes they'll have like an AD read the lines, or sometimes they'll have the other actor there, right?
Yep.
But like a lot of times, if you're not on camera, you'll just show up in like your street clothes and just read the line, right? Michael Jai White said that on the set of Dark Knight, that Heath Ledger showed up in full Joker makeup and everything, even when he wasn't on camera to help read the lines. How wild is that? Right? Like total commitment. You know what I mean? I mean, dude,
It
that's
helps.
why it was
It
the
helps
best.
it helps your counterpart stay in character. If they're not seeing you as the Joker, their lines may not be as natural as they would be had he not been the Joker. So so it'll be an over the shoulder shot of the actor that's not in the film, or actually, if we both are in that scene and they're getting her point of view, so the camera will be on me. They'll get my lines and they'll flip it. And then they'll get her lines and then they'll do a wide shot. And they'll get both of us standing there together. So that's why it takes a while sometimes to shoot one scene, because they can cut back and forth between.
Will they do the whole
shots.
Conversation from all three angles, or they just do certain lines from all three angles?
They'll do the whole conversation.
Okay.
And they'll do the whole conversation once or twice from a wide angle. Then they'll get a tighter angle. Then they'll do
angle.
Yeah. Then they'll do one and
so
one.
You're saying this thing like 4 times then?
Yeah. Or more.
Easily 4 times, if not more.
Especially if someone flub a line, then you got to do it more than 4.
What's that like if someone flubs a line on set? Is everyone pissed, or is it just like, hey man, just tighten up, you got it?
No, it's actually funny sometimes. You're like, my bad, let's do it again. All right, cut, rolling. Camera's still rolling. All right, and they'll say car scene, Rebecca and Keyon, take 2, and we'll go at it again.
Yeah, they do a count in. Okay, cool. Nice. Yeah. Okay, so that scene, right? Restaurant scene. Honestly, it's like, it looked like you had been working in restaurant businesses before. Had you ever done restaurant work?
Not at all.
Man, so you were able just to pull that out of nowhere. I mean, you're but dude, you really nailed it. And how'd you like working on that film?
That was pretty cool. I actually had to audition for that one. The auditions were held in downtown somewhere off of Brighton, like Cherry Street. They had some space down there where they were holding auditions. So I went down there, auditioned. In this game, when you do an audition, like you guys mentioned previously, the door gets closed several times on you. So at a certain stage, you go do an audition and you forget about it, man. I automatically assume that I won't get a call back.
Yeah.
When they call me back, I'm like, hello, who? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
How's it going?
Oh yeah, right? I did that. Nice.
Yeah, no big deal.
Oh, man.
So okay.
Just say you got a good voice. You do. Have you done any voice work?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done any voice work. I wanted to. I still do. So I might look into that.
Yeah. Dude, I'll tell you what too. Like, you got a great voice, and the camera, like, it does make a difference in like I don't know. I feel like the camera quality in the second scene was definitely better than the first scene, but they were like 4 years apart from when you filmed them. But The one,
yeah,
I
and then
mean,
after you keep snatching them, you keep downloading and moving it from place to place and stuff like that. It loses its quality and stuff. So yeah.
yeah, but I mean, still it was fine. But I would say, I mean, dude, honestly, it still came out well.
Yeah.
But I do say, like, it is true how you do look different on camera than in person. You know what I mean? Because, like, dude,
Yeah.
you're a
Yeah.
lean guy. You know what I mean? Like, you're a real lean guy, in shape guy, and you look lean
hmm
on camera, but you don't look as lean as you do in person. I will say that. Right? Like,
Yeah.
it's makes sense. So
Yeah.
okay. But either way, let's keep it moving. We're coming towards the top of time. So,
All
Keyon,
right.
thank you so much, man, for being back on the show. Dude, I had a blast,
Absolutely.
man. You're just the best, dude. Right?
Hey
Like two
man, it's been
hours
a
just went
pleasure
by
always.
like that. So,
Absolutely.
but well, before we get out of here, what do you got before we take off? In the description of this episode, we'll have a link for all of Keyon's socials. We'll have a link for Officially Made. We'll have a link for everything like we did last time. But what else? What do you got going? What do you got coming up? What are you doing? What do we got? Go ahead.
What am I doing? Of course, well, getting married in a couple weeks. I got that going on.
What? Who's the
Yeah,
lucky
man.
fella?
That's a big that's a big deal, man. That's a big deal. But
Yeah, you getting it
other than
catered
that,
by Dave Parr?
getting the kid. No. It's all
I'm
at the
kidding.
that's all
I'm
at the
kidding.
venue. No,
I'm
that's my
kidding.
guy though. He got some good stuff, man. I
Love
certainly
DP.
would if I needed a caterer. Yes, sir.
Right.
And but no, I'm working on Made, so I got another design coming this year. Another
Nice.
design, a different design. It's going to be pretty decent. I don't want to throw out any hints just yet, but a new design coming soon. Wedding first, of course, and then I actually jumping back on stage to do some spoken word. So I'll be doing that on the 17th. Not sure of the location just yet, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the location yet, but I think it's going to be in like Manayunk somewhere. But
I know
I'll keep you guys
Grape Room
posted.
closed. They used to have them at
Yeah.
the Grape Room, but maybe they'll have it at Raven or maybe McGillicuddy's or something down there.
Mm-hmm.
DJ McGillicuddy.
Yeah, they have 3 floors.
I used to play
Nice.
poker there.
Oh, cool. Nice. All right,
Yeah.
good. Well,
but yeah, man.
yeah. Well, dude, perfect.
That's
Very
about
good.
it.
Well, good. Well, hey, man, if we don't talk to you, hey, congrats and good luck. And, hey, man, happy
Yes, sir.
for you. Good stuff. JDub, what do you got before we
Appreciate
get
it.
out of here?
I got an idea for a
you
movie.
got,
You want to be
JDub?
in my movie?
Yeah, give us your
What
idea
movie,
for
man?
a
What
movie.
you got?
All right, so it's the opposite of Forrest Gump. You know how like Forrest Gump was like at all the great moments in history?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This guy will be at all the not so great moments in history.
Such as.
Oh.
Like let's see. He's like he was the actual person who worked at the restaurant who was supposed to drop off the sunglasses to Nicole Brown that night, but instead Kato dropped them off. He rents Timothy McVeigh the U-Haul in Oklahoma City in 1992. He leaves the back door open at the school at Sandy Hook. He trains the pilots for 9/11, but like doesn't teach them how to land.
Oh.
All right. So what role you want me to fill in your film, man?
What about is he also the paparazzi guy, or he sells the paparazzi guy the cameras the ones that chase down Princess Di?
He puts the bulbs in that are too bright for Princess Di's camera.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is horrible.
Honestly, Justin, I'm into it. I'm loving it.
Oh,
It's a good
man.
concept.
Keyon, you could play a ton of the role. I mean, you could be the guy because Forrest was white, so maybe this time he needs to be black.
His name will be Goris Frump.
Oh, Goris Frump.
You want to play Goris?
Frump, man.
I need a Goris.
Shoot me the script.
Everybody
All
needs
right.
a Goris.
I'll send.
Goris Frump.
I'll have my
You know
people
me,
call
man. I
your
just need-
people.
Yeah,
Craft
we'll
services,
contact
man.
your agent.
Yeah. I need-
Gonna
yeah.
tell me.
Same.
Craft services.
Trust me. If I'm having a movie, it's going to be the best craft services.
There we
Oh.
go. I'm in.
We'll get
That's all
Dave
I'm there
Parr.
for too.
Oh,
Nice,
man.
awesome, Justin. I love the
It's
movie.
been a ball, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Goris Frump, This has been another episode of the Working Perspectives podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle. He's JDub Justin Richardson, and our guest today is the one and only Keyon Smith. In case you're wondering, you can find all our stuff and all our content on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You also on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast, and join us on Twitter and TikTok at WorkingPod. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workingperspectives@gmail.com, and please like and subscribe, and we'll keep bringing you this sweet, sweet content. Thanks for listening, and have a good one. Thanks. See you.